On today's show.
Is the King now the mayor of Toronto? Yes. Yes, he is. And did we underestimate the Celtics? It appears so.
Caron Butler joins us to talk about playing LeBron, what the Raptors are going through, and tricking Jonas Valanciunas.
And we'll hit you with the best top 10 in sports entertainment history.
It's Friday, May 4th. The starter starts now.
Good evening, sweet world, and welcome to The Starters, presented by Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey. Whether you're joining us live right now on NBA TV or watching later on YouTube, we're very happy to have you. I'm Jay Skeets, and alongside me, as always, that's Tess Mellis.
Raps in 6.
How dare you? To his right, the international man of mystery, taking it to the max, Lee Ellis.
Friend.
Lily. And last, certainly not least, over yonder, that is the bearded one, that's Trey Kirby.
Ayo!
Ayo!
All right.
Voice sounds
A little bit better.
all right.
Apple cider vinegar does some good. Anyways, I'm here at the internet looking for your best tweets at hashtag the starters. And guys, I think you might have seen this. Last night, LeBron James lit up the Toronto Raptors, raining fadeaway jumpers from pretty much all over the court, trying to make each shot more ridiculous than the last. It got so absurd that at one point, ESPN's Mark Jones renamed the entire city.
Cleveland outscored Toronto by 13. We'll be back to LeBronto for the fourth quarter after this.
Yeah, LeBronto.
Oh.
I have a feeling that one's going to be sticking for a while, but it does give us a chance to fire the pun gun. We want you to hop on Twitter and hit us with your best hashtag NBA cities, and honestly, this should be an easy one. Just in California, there are a ton of them. Up north, we've got Sacramento and San Francisco Garcia, Charles Oakland, John Stockton, San Jose Calderon. Then you can hop on the PCH, hit Monterey Allen and Big Surge. Maybe stop at Ron Bakersfield on your way to Los Angeles. Visit its surrounding areas like Glen Big Baby Dalevis, Patrick Beverly Hills, and Luke Long Beach. Then you can end things up by going to beautiful San Diego. A beautiful, beautiful place. But we want to hear from you, so hop on Twitter and hit us with your best NBA cities. You can use hashtag NBA cities or hashtag the starters. We'll hear the best ones a little bit later.
All right, yeah, fire that pun gun tonight. We got a fun show tonight. Tough Juice. Caron Butler is going to join us live on set. We'll talk to him about some of his former battles with LeBron James or against LeBron James. We got the best top 10 in sports. And Lily, it took him all day, but he found a very solid play, so we'll show you that later. Let's start, though, with a little true or false. It's playoffs edition. 2 games on last night. Trey's got 2 questions. We'll do it.
It's been millions of years since Raptors were destroyed by fire falling from the sky, but last night's LeBron performance felt like an extinction-level event. LeBronosaurus Rex went for 43 points on some silly fadeaways and tied his career playoff best with 14 assists in the game to win. True or false? LeBron owns the Raptors.
He owns Toronto. He owns the City Hall. He owns the Sky Dome, the St. Lawrence Market. I don't even think he likes hockey. He probably owns the Hockey Hall of Fame. He's got it all. Sugar Beach, that's a thing in Toronto. He has it all. The Raptors are never going to beat him. We said that after they fell in Game 1 and didn't take advantage of getting that game. I mean, it was sort of over then, and he just put on a show. He was toying with the Raptors. He was completely toying with the Raptors in Game 2.
He owns this iteration of the Raps. The Raps are not going to beat him without a huge, monstrous roster change. That matchup's not a good one, and the 5-spot matchup with Kevin Love and Jonas Valanciunas, that also kills them because Jonas was bouncing around on his toes while Kevin Love was just flying by him. It doesn't really work out with Jonas on the perimeter. That being said, nothing to be ashamed of. LeBron has owned MVP Derrick Rose, 5-time All-Star Paul George, every single Atlanta Hawk. He owns a lot of things.
Yeah,
in the
he
Eastern
does.
Conference, he's 33. Since he turned 26, he hasn't given up the Eastern Conference crown, and
we thought it was going
here's
to be
another one.
different. We thought it was going to be different, though, because this was the
We
best
did.
Raptors team we've ever seen. And this was arguably, at least since way back in the day, the worst Cavs team, the worst LeBron team we've ever seen.
I guess what we didn't account for was the mental aspect that he's got over them.
Sure.
Because that Game 1, whatever you want to call it, that falling apart in Game 1. I mean, I think that's mental more than physical.
On the positive side, LeBron's a free agent at the end of the season. The Raptors, maybe they persuade him to
Plays
come.
well there.
Oh, he's going to go to LeBronto, is he?
Maybe.
Yeah, sure.
No. The problem is, I think, though, for the Raptors is they don't have a way of putting LeBron under pressure and making him feel
It
uncomfortable.
was so easy.
He had a bad game in Game 1, and even then, he didn't really feel uncomfortable. And in Game 2, the gap was never quite as big as it was in Game 1. And once LeBron sort of gets ahead, It's virtually impossible to sort of reel him in like that. And not only was he feeling great, other guys, particularly Kevin Love, who really didn't look all that great against the Indiana Pacers, started to look like an all-star again. And that's the biggest concern for the Raptors. If LeBron, who had 43 last night, had the 43 and no one else contributed like they didn't against Indiana, no one got 20, then you'd be feeling, okay, the Raptors doing the right thing.
Maybe that's
here.
the game plan. Yeah, let LeBron get a whole bunch of points,
if he
but
gets
stop everybody else.
43 and Kevin Love gets 31 and no one else can really slow down anybody, then it's really hard to see how the Raptors can reel in the rest of those Cavs. So going forward, obviously it's very, very tough to see the Raptors getting out of this series. But if they can find a way of getting LeBron to turn the ball over, because he barely turns the ball over any time he plays the Raptors, and making him feel uncomfortable, maybe the Raptors have a chance.
Well, are there any moves for Casey to make here? Is it putting like a Pascal Siakam into the starting lineup, taking JV out, see if he can do any damage against the second unit? Is there any card that Casey can play? I mean, he panicked a little bit, I thought, in game 2. He was struggling, I mean, especially with Serge Ibaka. Serge Ibaka, let's talk about him very briefly here. This is a $20 million guy. He just signed a contract, extension, obviously, a 3-year deal with the Raptors in the offseason. He's giving them absolutely nothing. And the plan was, correct me if I'm wrong, hey, here's a guy that's athletic, tough. He seems like the type of guy that can maybe play 4s and 5s like Kevin Love. That's what we're getting him for. And he has given them nothing. I mean, he got played off the court last night. He was turning it over right from the get-go, throwing up air balls, little hook shots, missing threes, to the point where Casey just had to pull him, and then he was searching for other answers. Yeah. I mean, he's got to give them something, right?
Yeah, I don't want to claim that there's an answer out there, but they got Serge before the Jonas Valanciunas renaissance this year to play the 5, basically, to be a more athletic 5.
For sure.
Try him on Kevin Love, because Jonas Valanciunas out there on the perimeter, although he does a lot of damage on the offensive end, I mean, he's burning them, he's killing them on the defensive end. And, they're just not playing to their capabilities. It's not like Kevin Love is more fleet of foot than Jonas Valanciunas, I don't really think.
But he looks like it now. That's the weird thing.
Jonas is just out of place. He always sees a pick, on the 3-point line where he has to be, where he's not really comfortable. And he's going out there. He just takes one step to it because he's guarding Kevin Love, because he just always goes towards picks. And now he's on the outside, and then he gets burned because you take that one step, and then he is a lot slower than Kevin Love. So maybe Serge at the 5, you just force him to be better. But there is no answer. I mean, you have to be able to guard LeBron a little bit better one-on-one. You did a good job in game 1.
Yep.
Things worked out. You didn't win when he scored 26. And that's the killer, because he had 3 40-plus games against the Pacers. They won all those. That's what's going to happen against the Raps. We're going to get some more 40-plus games.
Yeah, no, right.
You got to win the better one.
And the offense hasn't been the problem for the Raptors. No. I mean, they shot great percentages last night, put up a lot of points, but they can't slow them. They can't even make it difficult, as you said, Lee. Not only LeBron, but all of the Cavs.
Everyone's
it's very
getting open
easy.
looks.
Everybody's stepping into shots.
Yeah.
There's no turnovers. They had 6 in game 1, 3 in game 2. There's no fight back. So see if the Raps can do it in Cleveland. Not likely. It's why we're all wearing blue. Our tears just fall into our blue shirts. All right, what's the next one here, Charlie?
All right, another game in the Garden, another win for the Celtics. After last night's Game 2 win, Boston has won all 6 of their home playoff games so far this postseason. Speaking of 6, that's how many Celtics were in double figures as the C's came back from 22 down to take a 2-0 lead on the Sixers. True or false, we're idiots and we underestimated the Celtics.
Yeah, it's true. We did. I mean, they've been fantastic. They've been a very good home team throughout the playoffs and throughout the season. But I think coming in, we thought, without Kyrie Irving, obviously, let's not count Gordon Hayward because he's been out all season. Would they be able to generate enough offense against good defensive teams? And the answer's been absolutely yes. I mean, Terry Rozier has been coming in, has been fantastic. Smart comes back, helps. But even the young guys, Jason Tatum is playing like a veteran of many years rather than a young guy. So all they've been doing it's like the Spurs mentality. Next guy up, just get out there and play, get out there and hustle. And I think Brad Stevens has such trust and confidence in anyone he throws out there. He's a great communicator because they understand the role that they have to play, and they go out there and they perform. And so far, they've looked much better than Philadelphia, even though Philadelphia had a huge lead to start the game yesterday.
Yeah, they had a 22-point lead. Will they be able to overcome that as a young team? I think that's a fair question asked. They've never been down in the postseason before because they were up on the Heat. And then the Ben Simmons issue. Is he going to be able to bounce back after 1 point? Great move by Brad Stevens. He empowers all his guys, and you talked about the offense, how great they are. And then you throw, Marcus Morris and Al Horford. You're playing your big boys, your 4 or 5 on Ben Simmons, which is really, really smart. And Ben, I guess he's sort of got in his own head, as he said post-game. I was just thinking a little bit too much. Hopefully he can bounce back because they were up 22 points. That's how good this team is. They won on the road in Miami a couple times. they should be good enough to bounce back. But these are two big hurdles for now a young team. But then again, Boston hasn't won on the road this postseason. They're
you're
just
right.
taking care of home.
I don't think the series is over, but the Celtics have looked great because they're getting contributions from everyone. And Al Horford, he was the best player again on the floor, even if he doesn't light up the box score. Very quickly, do you question Coach Brown's decision to bring Simmons back in that game where TJ McConnell was running the offense well, he was scoring, he was contributing, and Simmons was struggling, as you said, but he goes back to his Rookie of the Year candidate and gets him in there in the final 5 minutes. McConnell was a plus, 16 or 17 when he was out there. Or do you like the idea, hey, we got to go through these bumps here if you're a young guy like Simmons? What do you think?
I think it was right to go back to Simmons. I mean, McConnell had been out there for a while, but get Simmons out there. Even if he is going to fail out there, you've got to get out there and just experience these tough playoff moments. So I think it was the right decision.
McConnell would have been gassed, I think, if he played the rest of the game.
Possibly.
He went in there with 3:30 left in the third quarter. It makes sense to get him out at the 6-minute mark. That would have been a lot of straight minutes for him, I thought.
Let's hear from you guys on Twitter.
Great game, though.
What do you think? It was an entertaining game. When we come back, Tough Juice is in the building. Karan Butler joins us live on set next. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to the show. We are happy to have two-time All-Star with us, Karan Butler. Thanks for being on the show, Karan. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Thanks for being on the show, and thanks for plugging the show on Instagram. I noticed you said you're coming on the Starters, Game Time, and that you had a big weekend coming up. That got me curious. What's this big weekend all about? What's going on?
I'm headed back to Racine, Wisconsin. We got an educational summit and, a lot of influencers from social media, different walks of life coming into the community and just talking to the kids, planting the right seeds and trying to expose them to, different things, and I think that's much needed.
Okay, that's very good stuff. Very cool. Now let's get to the playoffs here. You had a lot of battles with LeBron James over the years. At least plenty, yeah. I mean, his real first rival were your Wizards, and then you guys got him when you were with the Mavs. Now, how has his game grown? Is there something that you can point to that he used to be able to sort of get away with LeBron, that you could school him on that now wouldn't happen?
His jump shot.
Yeah.
Look at that. Like, you used to be able to gap him as much as possible and get into his space when he's trying to gather up for a jump shot. But now, you saw Kevin Love talk about it last night where he said, look, I'm going to take advantage of this mismatch. I'm going to go this way and then fade. And he's operating in 17 on in, which is impressive because the game now is either a dunk or it's a long ball on the perimeter, and he's bringing back where I made a living at for many years, 17 on in.
Right.
And this is great to see that. And he's 15 years in doing that. So, salute. I love it.
Right. And I mentioned the Mavs. You guys got him in 2011. I know LeBron has mentioned that was probably one of his low points in his career. How'd you guys get him? What was going on in the locker room? What was the plan there?
I'm going to tell you, the game plan was to, zone him. You had Deshaun Stevenson and, Sean Marion, doing an excellent job. And then you had a guy like Jason Kidd that can crowd him and, put a ton of pressure on him and keep him and Dwayne out of the point. I think they was the two most dominant guys in the point that season alongside Tony Parker. And you just wanted to, limit his opportunities and his resources and make him shoot jumpers and make him guess. Like, he didn't understand how to play against that zone, but he definitely understands now. Right. And he held that grudge for many years, and now he's attacking Coach Casey.
We know it.
Yeah, he is, unfortunately. I mentioned, 06, 07, 08, he got you guys in Washington. The Raptors probably going to go down 3 straight years as well. What's the mindset for the Toronto Raptors right now? What are they thinking?
Yeah, you know what? Just get a win. I think you got to, attack it game by game, and you have to understand that, you have to be confident.
But is there a chance, Karan? Is there a...
All right, now this is us talking. Like, now, if you're in that locker room, you got to be like, hey, anything can happen. You got to be playing Gladiator. You got to be playing Troy. You got to be playing whatever, Cardi B, whatever you got out there rocking it. But, if we're on the set, and I hope that you guys not listening, it's a wrap.
Right.
It is. Yeah. It's a wrap. I think the series is over. It's extremely deflating. But those guys said that they perform best when they're going through adversity, and that was them guys being the leaders of that ball club, DeMar DeRozan and, obviously Kyle Lowry. So they're going to have to go in there and pull off the impossible. Yeah. I'm not saying it can happen, but probably not likely to happen. But they got to win 2 games in Cleveland.
Right. Speaking of LeBron doing the Raptors dirty. You did Jonas Valanciunas a little dirty back when you were playing with the Clippers.
I love this.
Speaking of Toronto, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of Toronto.
So funny.
You go for a handshake, you're going for the dap, the fake dap, and you just steal that ball from him.
Like, you didn't plan that, or was that just like
I
spur of the
didn't
moment?
plan that, but that's how, listen, man, I grew up on the south side of Racine. And, look, they say, hey, young fella, you put your guard down, man. You can't never, they be like, hey, man, how your uncle? And they go that way with it. So I just stayed with it. I was like, hey, man, how you doing, man? Hey, you going to be a hell of a player one day. He's like, oh, thank you. Gone. Hey, same thing I learned on the block. Look, hey, man, you'll be good one day. Psych.
So good.
That's real slick. You're doing some studio work with the Lakers. We got to ask about James Worthy, because this guy you're working with, he's going viral with the things that he's doing. He's going wild on set there.
Yeah! Look at the slide. Hey, listen, it's been a pleasure to be on this side of the business and work with some of, my idols growing up. And he's definitely one of them. And, every time I'm looking to the left, and I'm just like, man, I'm next to Big Game, James Worthy. And he's just dropping that knowledge, and I'm just soaking it all up. So it's a pleasure. He's so much fun on set.
One other thing you had fun with on set was you killing DuckTales. You knew every single word.
That's my package. I'm back at DuckTales. That's the package.
We love
Scrooge McDuck.
You knew every single word.
Every time you hear it, it's like the first time, and that's why you call that a classic.
That's why it's nice to have a guy who's about our age on this show. Because, the young guys, they don't know DuckTales.
That's why it's so dope, though. That's why they remade it.
Well, that's a very good point.
Look, everything that's like super impactful on the culture, they remake it. They did it with Lethal Weapon. They're doing it with all the other movies, and that's what happens. Baywatch, come on, man. They got The Rock as David Hasselhoff now. Like, it's crazy. Like, come on, man.
DuckTales, amazing.
All right, God, thank you for your time, Karan. You can see Karan tonight on Game Time. We got to take a quick break, but after the break, the top 10 plays from the past week.
DuckTales. Woo!
That's when you hum it, when you don't know where to start at.
The Starters is brought to you by Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey, official partner of the NBA.
Back with the starters, where it's now time for the best top 10 in sports. Let's do this. We'll start at number 10. That makes sense. And it is Marcus Smart grabbing a big man's rebound in traffic. Woo! Flips it over his head with the acrobatic and one. Yeah, that was a nice board.
Strength.
Oh, battling Embiid in there.
Yeah. One-handed.
Wicked small.
At number 9, just like the Warriors drew it up.
Oh, yeah.
What, this is a top 10 play?
Yeah.
What's going on
Watch
here?
this pass. Whoop.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty.
Oh, what a finish.
And
Okay.
one.
Okay, in hindsight,
Actually,
this is a weird one.
It's a nice defensive play here. Actually, it's
This
blocked.
could be a pickup
I like the
game.
pass here,
AD,
though.
big block.
Even the finish. Nice.
That play had it all. At number 8, Tristan Thompson, Game 7. The huge rejection on Darren Collison. I mean, we hadn't seen Tristan Thompson for a long time. And he was great in Game 7. That defensive play right there, nice. Yeah, high five from the king.
James Harden. Oh, sneak dunk.
Ooh. Ooh.
It's nice to hear it, too.
Yeah.
Pap.
Some dunks are better not in slow motion.
You got to hear that impact
Yeah.
here.
This is one of them. Oh, he's got a nosebleed. At number 6, Game 6. Pacers Cavs, Oladipo with the steal and with the finish.
Man, that's so easy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Little chin up there on the rim. Yeah, this one, I'm fine with slow-mo on this one.
yeah.
I got no problem with that. Yeah, let him land.
Great dismount.
Excellent.
At number 5, watch Donovan on the bottom. Donovan Mitchell calling for it because it's going to him.
I love his oops. Like he just sort of levitates and then he cocks it back a little bit.
Still looks like he's way under the rim for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but then he just hammers. At number 4, another oop. Anthony Davis. Oh, backdoor cut.
How many bad passes does he turn into? Alan?
Yeah, this one is very, very high. Yeah, a little slow-mo would help us here. Look where he grabs it. Huge.
At number 3, we couldn't pick one Terry Rozier lob, so we squeezed in 2.
Oh. The handles are nice.
Oh, man.
Beautiful stuff.
So that's the first one. Oh, yeah.
Then he gives it to Jason Tatum here.
It was like a game-sealing dunk, basically.
Yeah.
Oop.
The accuracy on these passes is almost Drew Bledsoe.
Oh, good point. And number 2, game 6, LeBron. Just bully ball. Lance, get off me. Sabonis, get out of my way.
This has been his thing this year, just charging through the lane and
People
smashing it.
flying off him, yeah.
Arvidas felt that one.
At number 1, Donovan Mitchell, off the front rim, gets up and throws it down. How quick he had to get up. Euro, oh no.
Bunnies!
It's amazing. How fast.
Doesn't look like a guard doing that.
No.
That's crazy.
Jazz bench loving it. Hope you did too. When we come back, Lily hits us with the very solid play.
Here's LeBron James. He heads off.
High Tops is back. Plays of the season tomorrow at noon. All right, it's time for the NBA Culture Report, presented by Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey. And today, we have Lakers legend Kareem Abdul-Jabbar performing on Dancing with the Stars.
Wow.
Lee, what do you think?
He's actually not bad. I mean,
71 years old.
71 years old. He's got some moves still. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's a cool move.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tonight's
What a career he's had. He's a pilot in a movie.
tonight's
All-Star.
playoff schedule. 2 games on, both on ESPN. We got Game 3, Warriors Pelicans. Dubs up 2-0 in that series, and the nightcap tonight, Rockets Jazz Game 3. That series tied at 1 game apiece, so it should be good. All right, we asked you, fire the pun gun. Hashtag NBA cities, just like LeBronto. Trey, you got a few of the best answers.
Yeah, some really good ones. For instance, San Antonio Parker, Allen Houston, easy. Dennis Rod Manila, Ottawa Porter, very nice. Charleston Barkley, Josh Jacksonville, Florida, Kawhi Lombard, Illinois, I'll allow it.
pretty good.
Batum Rouge, Kyrie Irvine, California, Melvin Simmons, you have to say it in an Aussie accent. Nando de Colorado, not quite, but good enough. Pascal, Seattle, St. John Starks, and finally, Honolulu Williams. Great job, everyone.
Good stuff. All right, Lily,
Yeah.
who gets the honor?
It has to be the Celtics last night. The ball was really fizzing around, and here's Marcus Smart with, I believe, his first boomerang of the season. He starts it off, and he ends it. It's a beauty. That's what I call a very solid play.
Very solid, but when did you find the time to find that very solid play? Well, I want to know, because my man, Lily had a very solid nap today. Right there.
Yeah.
Don't wake Daddy.
Yeah, it's been a long week. It's been a long week. It caught up.
All right.
Lots of
Yeah.
features.
Rob podcast is up. Go download and listen to that bad boy we talked about. The big games from last night, all the head coaching hirings and all that stuff. All right, that's it for us tonight. Thanks to Tough Juice for stopping by the studio. We'll be back at 4:30 on Monday. We'll see you then.
Thanks for joining us, and apparently people take better naps with socks on.
Race the weekend, people.